An employee handbook is one of the key documents that we recommend that businesses have to outline the relationship between employer and employee. It sits alongside the employment contract, but it's generally not contractual. If you want more details on exactly what should go in an employee handbook, how you write one, I've done another video on that. There will be a link in the description below, so take a look. In this video, I'm talking more about how we present the employee handbook, how we share it, because an employee handbook should be a living, breathing document. It should be something that your employees know where it is, they can reference as and when they need it. And that means it shouldn't be just done, printed, stuck in a filing cabinet in the HR manager's office or the director's office, and the employee's got to go and ask for it when they want it. That's not ideal at all. If you want to discipline somebody on those rules, they need to know what the rules are and have access to them, as well as knowing how to call in sick, for example, which most people aren't doing on a regular basis. So your employee handbook should be living, breathing. It should be there for people to access as and when they need it. The reality is most people don't look at it very often. Unless you're working in HR, you're probably not looking at the employee handbook often at all. So it's about knowing where it is. And one thing I found is that when we put that into like a Google Drive, for example, people forgot it was there. And not only that, but all sorts of documents I'd stick in kind of my Google Drive, and I'd create them and I'd lovingly put effort into them, and then find we just forgot about them and didn't reference them. That's why when we started using Confluence as a business, it really changed things. And that's why I'm sharing this with you today. So I just want to say I've not been asked by Confluence to make this video. I'm not being paid by Confluence to make this video, but it is a tool that's become so useful in our business that I wanted to share it with all small business owners out there so that you can really think about using a wiki, whether it's Confluence or something else. But we often think of these things as kind of tools for big business, tools for corporates, but actually they're so easily accessible. And one of the great things about Confluence is for most small businesses, you'll be operating even on the free tier. So it'll barely cost you anything, if anything at all. They're so simple to set up, use, update, and we refer to it all the time. And this is why I love it. So for the employee handbook, it's a place for it to be. It's a place for the employee handbook where it fits in with everything else we're doing. So our culture is about making sure that we put everything that needs to be referred to within the business on Confluence. So style guides, our YouTube channel, if you look at how that's designed, all of that's documented on Confluence. It's our company wiki, it's our point of reference, it's our source of truth. And that's what makes it so powerful for the employee handbook to be in there. Like everything else in HR, HR doesn't sit on its own, kind of doing its own little thing that isn't relevant to everything else in the business. It's got to sit comfortably within it. And that's what makes wikis so powerful, because the employee handbook sits within the reference that all of us are using every single day. And we've got a habit, which is that when we make a decision, when we put a new process in, we put it on Confluence. If we find something's not there, we add it on there. If someone's asking a question, the first place to check is Confluence. And that makes it something that's such a habit that when someone wants to look up their holiday entitlements or the rules around applying for holiday, for example, Confluence is the place they go. And that's why it's so useful. It stops the employee handbook being this standalone document that no one's really looking at. People forget it's there. They don't think to go and look at it. And yes, it's not going to be right for every business. We are a business where we're sitting looking at computers all day. We're referencing the internet all of the time. So having another tab that's got Confluence on there as a point of reference absolutely makes sense. If you've got people who are out on the road, on a building site, in a hair salon, it's probably not going to be the best place for your employee handbook, and there'll be other ways, possibly even printing out, putting in the van, putting them up on the wall, things like that will be more relevant. But for those businesses where you are using your office based, you're using computers all the time, then a wiki is absolutely ideal, not just for your employee handbook, but also to set all of your expectations across the business. That also makes it much easier when it comes to things like performance management. So if people aren't following processes, but you can demonstrate that they're documented, people know exactly what they are, it makes it much easier for you to deal with issues of underperformance. than you would have been able to if we're just kind of relying on people to have these things in their head. So that's why I love it. That's why I think that it's worth exploring if you're a small business owner and you're looking at how you share information with your teams, how you make sure that things are documented, that people know where things are. My top tip would be a wiki, and we absolutely love using Confluence. Perhaps you've got other ideas for where you share your employee handbooks, how you present it. Share it in the comments below. I think as business owners, it's great if we can share our ideas, our hints and tips. And don't forget to subscribe, hit that notifications bell. Make sure you don't miss a video where we share our hints and tips twice a week, every week.